What if I told you that I have been using the same camera for almost 8 years? A camera you can get now for $500. I believe a camera is only as capable as the person using it. I want to share with you the 3-step process I use to get the most out of any camera. Hopefully, you can learn something from this video. So here we are in beautiful New York City. This part of the city is called Long Island City, and it's located in Queens, and it's one of my favorite spots to shoot. As you can see, they have a beautiful Pepsi sign that I love, and it looks really good and cinematic at night. I got Lex Graham over here, and I want him to tell you guys something that he thought of me when he first met me. Yo, come over here, bro. I mean, I don't know if you guys know him, but maybe one of you know this guy. What's up, bro? You can sit over here.
All right.
Just tell them the story, bro.
All right. So yeah, when we first got together, like I seen a lot of his footage. He showed me a documentary, a short doc that he was working on, and I immediately was like, this is great. You're a great editor. I love the color grade and everything. But I said, what are you using the film with? Because this looks really good. And I'm thinking the usual suspects: the FX3, maybe the Sony A7S3, maybe a S1H from Lumix, a Blackmagic camera even. And then he dropped the bomb on me and said he was filming with the GH5. I thought he was lying. I thought it was a joke. I was like, stop bullshitting me, bro. Like, what are you really using? And sure enough, we got together and he showed me he was filming everything with the GH5. So let this be a lesson to anybody watching. That whole full frame versus micro four thirds versus APS-C, get that out of your head. You can make great images too with a micro four thirds camera if that's what you want to use. And I like the fact that it is small and lightweight, but most importantly, he knows his camera. That was the first thing he told me. It's like, I know my camera in and out, through and through. And there's times where we have filmed and I prefer some of the shots out of the GH5. So yeah, thought he was bullshitting me, but here we are.
Okay, so you heard Lex. Thank you, Lex, for coming here to my channel. Okay, now I want to talk about my 3-step process. The first step is what happens before you hit record, and that is lighting and exposure. If you ask any great photographer, they take lighting and exposure very seriously because that is what makes your footage look better, essentially. So, when I'm talking about lighting and exposure, what I'm looking for is to nail the camera exposure either in the middle or be just a couple of stops under. I don't like exposing to the right. All I care about is if the subject is exposed correctly. I don't care about the shadows. So sometimes when there is a lot of darkness in the shot, the camera will tell you that you are underexposed. But guess what? What do you care about? Do you care about your subject? Do you care about your shadows? Are you trying to get everything? So if you're trying to get everything, even what's under the shadows, you should get more light. That's essentially the fix for that. But when I'm shooting, I don't care about what's under the shadows because all I'm focused on is the subject. That's it. As long as the subject is posed correctly, everything is gonna look perfect when I get to the next steps. So now for the next step is how you film your footage. There are 3 things that I look for when I'm talking about image quality. I'm not talking about 4K, 1080, none of that. I'm looking for the color depth, meaning 10-bit, 12-bit, or things like that. Anything 10-bit and over is perfect because that is gonna help you get the most out of your footage when you are color grading. Now, the next thing that I look for is the codec. I usually shoot at 400 megabits per second because that's the highest in my camera. And I think that is like the sweet spot. So if I had a camera that can shoot higher than that, I probably wouldn't. I think that is beefy enough for me. So now the other thing that I look for is shoot in log, even at night. I know that a lot of creators out there tell you that shoot in the natural profile or something like that. And I wouldn't advise on that. I don't care how dark it is. I'm always shooting in log because at the end of the day, when you color grade your footage, log is gonna give you the best, the most out of your image. So I don't care if it's dark out there, as long as the subject is perfectly exposed and you're shooting in log, you're gonna get the most out of your image. So now for the third step, and one of the most important steps, and a step that a lot of people mess up with, they usually get the first two right, but then when it comes to post production, which is color grading, they just get it wrong because they are trying to lift the shadows. And when you lift the shadows, you're introducing more noise in there in your image. Basically, you are showing the noise that was already there. But now, when you leave the shadows dark, the way that, in my opinion, they should look, everything looks good. You won't be able to notice the noise in your footage. So, when you're trying to color grade, if you shot your image dark, right? And the subject is perfectly exposed. Forget about lifting the shadows. It doesn't look good. And for me, the way I shoot, I think the contrast between the lights and the shadows makes it a lot more cinematic at the end of the day. So I don't mind it. I don't mind underexposing whenever I have to. As long as the subject is fine, I don't mind. So when I take my footage into the DaVinci Resolve, I will never lift the shadows. I am going to work with what I have and I'm going to make it look good. And if you check my footage, it doesn't look that bad because I'm not trying to lift the shadows. So yeah, that is my take on how to get the most out of your image. And like I said early in the intro, it's not really about the camera because the camera is only as capable as the person using it, period. Anyways, thank you so much for this one, and that's it. I think that's it, bro.
Yeah, you covered a lot.
That's it.
You gave a lot of valuable information too.
Yeah,